Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Immigration and Jobs Talk Show. And this is Daily Immigration Dose. Thank you so much for joining us here on uh, this Christmas Eve. So, I'm very excited about today's episode. We are streaming live right now. And before we head on to today's topic of discussion, and I have my co host, I have to read out this very important disclaimer, and that is by watching our videos, you understand that the information shared, including user comments, is not professional advice. Use at your own risk. Our intention is never to offend, it's just a casual exchange of ideas. So, once again, thank you so much, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Daily Immigration Dose. And I'm Napasa Pradhan. And of course, joining me today is my wonderful co host, Sam. And today we are gathered here. It's really hard to ignore the significance of this moment. So, it's Christmas Eve, and here's wishing all you folks out there Merry Christmas already, and thank you so much for joining us. I hope this season brings you more love, happiness, and abundance. Hi, Sam. How are you
Absolutely.
doing?
Hi, Napasa. I'm doing great, and I'm so excited, to meet our viewers today because it's Christmas Eve. So it's already a very special day, and I hope that obviously the year, the upcoming year brings more joy, love, and laughter to all our viewers. And yeah, I think hello, friends, everyone. It's so great to have you all here, and to Napasa also. And I think without any further ado, let's directly jump into our today's topic because today we are going to talk about that is a very urgent and important situation, that is, will the Gaza hostages be freed in time for the holidays? So I think, these are the people, including Americans also, who have been held captive in Gaza by Hamas for over a year now. And with the holidays fast approaching, I think there's a big question on everyone's mind that will the Gaza hostages be freed in time for the holidays? So I think to discuss on this topic, we need to have a great discussion ahead, and we need to dive into very important points where we are going to bring up in today's session. But I think before that, let's have a quick news update so that our viewers can understand what's happening around the world related to immigration. All right.
Absolutely, Sam. Yes, and I know for many it's a time of celebration, love, togetherness, but it's also time for reflection. Because the season is a reminder of the importance of family, freedom, and hope that comes with new beginnings. And of course, today's topic is of just like Sam has said, Gaza hostages, will they be freed in time for the holidays? And Sam, of course, we will discuss about it, but you can go ahead with the news updates first.
Absolutely. So, friends, here's my first news update that California develops plan to support immigrants. So, in response to anticipated mass deportations by President Trump, California Governor Gavin Newsom's administration creating a plan to support the undocumented immigrants. And the plan includes setting up regional hubs to connect at-risk individuals and their families with essential services like legal aid and schools. Moving ahead with another news that is MS-13 gang member arrested in New Jersey. Jonathan Stanley Garcia Vasquez, a known MS-13 gang member wanted for murder and terrorism in El Salvador, has been arrested in New Jersey after living there illegally. And his arrest highlights ongoing efforts to remove dangerous individuals from the US. Moving ahead with another news that is first severe human case of bird flu confirmed in the US. So the US has confirmed its first severe human case of bird flu. The Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, that is CDC, reported that a person in the US has contracted a severe form of avian influenza, raising concerns about the potential for the virus to spread among humans. And health officials are also closely monitoring the situation and advising the public to take precautions to prevent the spread of the virus. So these were some of the news updates from my end, and moving ahead with my co-host Nepasa.
Thank you so much, Sam. And yes, I have a couple of news updates as well. The first is, American Airlines grounds all US flights on Christmas Eve due to technical issue. And yes, that's right. Today on Christmas Eve, American Airlines, the world's largest airline, was forced to ground all flights in the US due to an unspecified technical issue. And the airline did not immediately reveal the cause of the disruption, but social media quickly lit up the concerns from passengers, who were eager to reach their loved ones for the holidays. So, though the ground stop notice was lifted after a short period, travelers still faced the possibility of delays as airlines worked to make up for the lost time. And American Airlines tweeted earlier in the day that they were working on resolving the issue as quickly as possible, but did not provide a specific timeline. And the Federal Aviation Administration, that is the FAA, confirmed that American Airlines had requested the nationwide ground stop. So fortunately, the ground stop was eventually lifted, but with the holiday travel rush, you can only imagine. Yes, it remains to be seen how long it will take to return to normal operations. And I really hope that everything is back to normal by now. And moving on to my next news update is, Trump has two genders policy. I'm sure everybody in the US has heard about this, and it's going crazy out there. So, what it means for transgender rights and the future of America. So yes, today, we it's a very controversial topic, actually, sparking heated discussions across the United States because, yes, Donald Trump's renewed stance on transgender rights as he eyes another term in the office. It's yes, I think it's making a huge buzz out there. So yes, in his recent speech, America Fest, hosted by Turning Point USA, Trump declared that under his administration, the US government would officially recognize only two genders, male and female. This statement, along with the promise to sign executive orders banning transgender individuals from military service, restricting their inclusion in schools and sports, has sent shockwaves, through the LGBTQ community. So the numbers speak volumes because around 1.3 million adults and 300,000 youths identify as transgender in the US, and many, feel their very existence is under threat because following an election day calls to LGBTQ mental health crisis, lines reportedly spiked by a staggering 700%. And Trump's rhetoric, also extended to women's sport, where he controversially misgendered Olympic athletes, and to schools where he vowed to eliminate transgender inclusive policies and critical race theory. So his campaign has already spent millions on anti-transgender ads, positioning himself as a defender of common sense, while accusing Democrats of pushing a so-called transgender cult. Well, critics argue that such policies risk devastating impacts and gender affirming care, a critical necessity for many. But this has been linked to lower rates of depression as well, anxiety, and even suicide. So the question now is, what will happen to the millions, relying on this care if these laws come to pass? And this is more than a political debate because it's a deeply personal issue for countless Americans out there as the conversation continues, of course. And whenever we find more news on this, we are going to keep you updated. I really hope that you follow us. We are Immigration and Jobs Talk Show. We are on YouTube, LinkedIn, Facebook, on also on X, and we are also on Instagram. Do follow us, on social, so that and don't forget to hit that bell icon so that you are notified whenever we have great updates and discussions like these. And another thing is, you can also be a part of our conversation today. It'll be really nice to see what you're doing out there. It's the holiday season. I'm sure you are celebrating with your friends and family. And, we can make it light. Why not tell us what you're doing? And you can dial this number 425-436-6335. And the access code is 988-888. And once you're in, you can say hello. We will be able to hear you. So, yes, I'm really looking forward for you to join us. Yeah, Sam, let's continue with today's topic of discussion then.
Yeah, right. So I think thank you so much, Nepalza, for letting us know about the latest updates that's happening around US. And yeah, I think friends, it would be great. We all know that you all are busy in celebrating your Christmas holidays, but still, if you have the chance or you still want to share anything that you wanted to, then please go ahead and dial this number with the access code, and we would love to have you here with us. And I think it would be what else could be great, to talk your heart out, to say those things that you always wanted to let other people know about it. So I think it would be great to join us, and we will be waiting for you. All right, so I think now it's almost time, to talk about today's topic. That is, will the Gaza hostages be freed in time for the holidays? So, before talking directly about the situation, I would like to shed some light on the history part, because most of the people don't know that what's the conflict and why this Palestine and Israel always have been in conflict. So here's a history that thousands of years ago, the region known as Palestine was home to ancient peoples, including Jewish people as well, and they built their kingdom that is currently known as Israel. So earlier it was no division like Palestine or Israel, it was all together the one country. But in late 1800s, what happened that there were many Jewish people who went to other countries instead of Israel or Palestine. They went to other countries, and where they were living, they were facing some kind of discrimination or persecution, that was happening with them. So many of them wanted to come back to their ancestors' land where they had lived, that was Palestine. So what happened at that time when they came back to their island, Palestinian Arabs, they were also living there at the same time. So they had been living in Palestine and did not want to give up their land or to share their land with the Palestine people, earlier the Jewish people, basically. So during World War One, what happened? The British Empire took the control of Palestine, and British Empire supported the Jewish people, and they gave the permission to Jewish homeland that yes, in Palestine, Jewish people is also going to live with full rights and with full security. But this thing, I think this majorly took a turn, or this increased the hostile relationship between the Arabs, the Palestinian Arabs, and the Palestinian Jewish. So, this happened over the next few decades, and more Jewish people began moving to Palestine, and this caused tensions between them and Palestinian Arabs also. So after World War II, what happened? The UN decided, by seeing these conflicts and these hostile relationships, they decided to divide Palestine into two parts. Firstly, the Israel, and secondly, the Palestine. So Israel is for Jews and Palestine is for Arabs. So this was the major history, that how Palestine and how Israel got their name and how it came to existence. So this was the reason, and this is the history, of the conflict between these two main countries. So yeah, I think this was the history. And also, Nipasa, is there any other information that you would like to add on this topic?
Thank you so much, Sam. I think it was really important to know. And talking about, I mean, ancient period, the area known as Israel and Palestine has been historically significant, for many, many civilizations, particularly for ancient Hebrews, who settled in the region in the second millennium BCE. So the kingdom of Israel was established around 10th century BCE. So imagine how old is it?
Absolutely.
And after a series of conquests, the region fell under various empires: the Babylonian Empire, the Persian Empire, the Greek Empire, under Alexander the Great, and the Roman Empire as well. And of course, we had early Islamic and Ottoman rule. After the Muslim conquest in the 7th century, the region became a part of the Islamic caliphates as well. And later, the Ottoman Empire, which controlled the area from 1517 to 1917. And of course, then came the British Mandate. And then, like you said, the creation of Israel and the Arab Israeli conflict also happened. That was around 1947, when the United Nations proposed a plan to partition Palestine into Jewish and Arab states. So the Jewish leadership accepted the plan, but the Arab states rejected it. And in 1948, after the British withdrawal, Israel declared independence, and this led to the first Arab Israeli war, which was in 1948. And it resulted in Israel's victory and the displacement of over 700,000 Palestinian Arabs, and that was an event known as the Nakba, the catastrophe, if you remember. And
Mhm.
the region has seen several wars ever since. It was 1956, and then 1967, 1973 as well. and the ongoing tensions between Israel and Palestinian groups, particularly over issues of borders, settlements, and Jerusalem, even. The Palestinian Liberation Organization, PLO, it was founded in 1964 and has been central to Palestinian cause. So yes, this goes on, and there is still the modern conflict. And in 1967 Day War, this led to Israel occupying the West Bank, the
Mhm.
Gaza Strip, right, and East Jerusalem, areas where Palestinians claim for their future state. And of course, there is peace efforts like the Oslo Records, in 1993, and the Camp David Summit in the year 2000, which have made limited progresses toward resolving the conflict. Issues like Israeli statements, the status of Jerusalem, and the right of return for Palestinian refugees remain key points of contention. I mean, the list goes on. You talk about it.
Mhm.
Yeah, I think I would like to add that, and the histories of Palestine and Israel, they have marked by struggles for identity, territory, and even sovereignty. So while Palestine and Israel are deeply entangled in religious, political, and even historical conflicts, there's so much going on, and today we are going to discuss further. And let's see what's going on, what's going to happen to the hostages as well. And I really hope that they make it somehow, because I think this holiday season is more about being with their families, being with their loved ones, and who doesn't want that, right?
Absolutely. That's, of course, that's how it should be. But also, Nivasa, I would like to talk about it that there are some major complications. The issues that has been between these two countries. That is firstly of land. So I think land is one of the major issue that is happening between Israel and Palestinians. That is, they both want
Yes,
to create
territory like this. Yeah.
right, because they both want to create their own country on the land Israel controls, like West Bank, Gaza, East Jerusalem, and also I think Jerusalem is one of the sacred land for both the Israel and for the Palestinians as well. So they both want to control the same thing, and it's like that's why it's like a tug of war. And I think wherever there is a tug of war, do you think, in your personal opinion, that there's ever going to be a peace treaty between these two nations? Or it's like they both will be forever fighting, or they both will be having
I
a
mean, they
constant.
have been fighting since forever, right?
Mhm.
So far, there has not been any treaty, there has not been any negotiations where they have both agreed onto some common point. It's like one agrees, the other doesn't. So, but we do hope that this settles down somehow, if there can be some
Mhm.
sort of deal where both parties feel like, okay, not the other one is winning over the other. I think only then it's going to be possible, like equality. But I don't know how is that going to happen.
That's, I think that's very difficult because if we see the map of Israel and the Palestine, we can also see where Gaza is placed. So Gaza Strip is exactly the left side, then the Israel is there, and then the Palestine. So we
Hmm.
can see the territorial location is also very much difficult to handle, because it's not in a one place. The different location, the Gaza is in different location, that's why there are hostages, that's why there's every time war, that's why there's chaos all the time. And I think until and unless territory matters a lot, because it's not possible to control the same territory at that place and then controlling the other territory on the other place. So because of this map location also, I think this is also a very major reason that why Israel and Palestine, they have this conflict, I think, like from last how many years. And I don't know exactly about the future, because nobody knows what's going to happen. But if this remains the same, then I think maybe something else also that people might see, and maybe saddening also, maybe more heartbreaking, that what people can see. But now, as we are also seeing that the situation of hostages, as what we are seeing, and I think there's also people are expecting, because of Christmas and because of Hanukkah also, because it's together. So it's the rare coincidence. So now, Napasa, from your side, I would like to know that do you believe that maybe this is a good time or this is a good week, a positive week that people mostly say the festival weeks are the weeks where gods are supporting or gods are in favor of people. So do you believe that hostages may be freed in this holiday time? What do you think, or what's your point of view?
Well, of course, like we do hope that they could be freed and they could, unite with their families and loved ones, even if it is
Mhm.
just for a short while, just for, to be able to celebrate the season. The season is so festive and, filled with so much love and warmth, though it's happening in the winters, except for Australia out there. But I think, yes, I think they all deserve to feel that warmth, and
Mhm.
it is, like you said, a very very positive time. Nobody wants to be sad, and whenever you talk about sad things, we try to look on the positive side, like try to make the best or try to look on the brighter side.
Mhm.
So I really hope that there is some light that could be shed on these hostages as well.
Absolutely, because it's the thing that on October 7, 2023, when if we take a look at back the last year also, then there was also a violent attack, by Hamas on Israel, and this also resulted the like tragic death of 1,200 people altogether, and over 100 people were also taken hostages, including seven from Americans. So I think these hostages, are still being held in Gaza, and many are facing still those horrific conditions like starvation, injury, or whatsoever the tortures are like that. Okay, so as we get closer to the second winter in captivity, I hope that their situation has become little better. But we can't say anything on this, and we can just hope that maybe in this Christmas and Hanukkah, as it's a very rare holiday coincidence that take place together. So we can just hope, that in this rare coincidence and for the families of the hostages as well, it carries some special meaning, some hope, some light of like shine light in the darkness. So
Mhm.
we can just hope, we can just expect. So I think, yeah, that's what the thing is, and most of the people say that Hanukkah has a different story. It basically means that it's the message of light shining in the darkness. So people believe this story of Hanukkah, and people have this positive thought in their mind. So that's what they are looking forward to it. And in fact, we also wanting, the same thing for hostages also, because it's so sad and it feels so, I would say, disheartening, to see someone getting tortured, and not even because that person has done something wrong. It's only because of the territorial issue. It's only because of the community. So it's like, what's wrong? Who is right? Who is wrong? We can't say anything to it. It's just all
Mhm.
that. If it's from different nation, kill that person. If it's not from my nation, kill that person. So these are the things that are very sensitive. We can't justify who is right, who is wrong, because there's always a history. There's always a hidden story that most of the people don't know.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think that's sad. That's sad. But I think okay,
Right.
something else, Napasa, that you would like to add on.
I mean, I can only keep on adding more facts, whatever I've been reading in different,
Yeah.
news channels and outlets out there. So, of course, like tomorrow is 25th of December. We are closing the end of the year, and approximately about 100 hostages still remain in Gaza, following the Hamas led attack on Israel, right? It happened last year, October 2023. And
Mhm.
then among these, at least one third are believed to be deceased. So we don't know how many are remaining. I mean, the exact number, for so to say. And when you look at Voice of America, it was saying about Israeli Prime Minister, Benjamin Netanyahu, has reported some progress in negotiations aimed at securing the release of these hostages. I think this is a little
Yeah.
light and good to know. And he emphasized that efforts are ongoing, and that the Israeli government is committed to bringing all hostages home. So we really hope this happens on time at least. let's see, whenever there is more news on this, we are sure going to update you. And folks out there, keep watching out our space. We are Immigration and Jobs Talk Show. And then when we look at the Times of Israel, in the tragic development, Hannah Katzir, a 78-year-old former hostage who was abducted by Hamas during the October 7th attack and released in November 2023, passed away on December 24th, that is today, and due to medical complications, he passed away. And the death underscores the severe physical and psychological toll by hostages. So this was very, very tragic. Actually, not he, it's her. So sorry. And then when you look at New York Post, an Israeli military investigation revealed that the presence of Israeli troops inadvertently contributed to Hamas militants' decision to kill 6 hostages in Gaza in August 2024. This finding highlights the complex challenges faced in rescue operations and the delicate balance, required to ensure the safety of hostages. Um, you know, Chills go down my spine when I read all these, and especially in this festive season, it's. I don't mean to, but these are just the truth that we really need to utter right now. And what we're reading, I'm sure, like this scares you, and I'm sure it's giving you goosebumps as well. Um,
Absolutely.
Talking about another news from Reuters, negotiations for the hostages release involve international mediators, including Egypt and Qatar, who are actively facilitating, discussions between Israel and Hamas. And the situation remains highly sensitive, with families of the hostages and global communities advocating for their safe return. And I'm sure like you can go read and check out more on these updates, because the current status of the hostages in Gaza, you may find different videos which you can watch, but we cannot show them right now here. So I mean, this is what the current situation is of the hostages. So
Absolutely. And I think, yeah, as you were saying that you might have got goosebumps. So it's very obvious, and it's very sad to understand these things. And it's because, it's festive time. I think most of the people, who are able to enjoy their time, who are able to have their family time, I think they should be thankful to God, because there's another situation that people are going through, because in Christmas also their family members are still praying for God. I mean, from God, to for their freedom, for their just for a day, they can spend that day, they can spend Christmas, they can celebrate Christmas all together. And the families, of hostages, I don't know how they are having the courage to I mean, to go through this situation, because of these hostages. They have been fighting every day for their loved ones, and they are showing incredible strength, despite the horror that they have been through. But still, these families have been meeting with politicians, leaders, and even media outlets, asking for help. So I think their family members are also playing a very important role, not only the government themselves, but also they are also trying their level best, to have the strength, to have the courage, by having a meeting with politicians, with leaders, and also delivering their points, delivering their information to media outlets too. So they want, their loved ones anyhow to come home from before the holidays, and they are doing everything that they can to make that happen. So we can just hope that hope is the only weapon that right now we can do, and they are holding on to it tightly. But still, we can't say anything about it, that what's going to happen, because it's something very intense and it's something very aggressive, because
yes.
both Palestine, both Israel, they always have this conflict, always have this aggression towards each other. So I don't know whether we can expect this or not, some kind of leniency or some kind of relaxation, but we can at least expect that in this holiday, maybe their heart falls a little, and they can become a little softer towards the hostages. So we can just expect that thing. And yeah, I think that's what my point is all about.
Sure, sure. And talking about, this holiday season, I think talking about the symbolic light of Hanukkah and the hope of Christmas, I think we reflect the urgent need for action and the resilience of the human spirit in the face of darkness. So, yes, the hostage crisis, over a year of captivity, and then the unwavering strength of these hostage families, how hard they must have been praying, over the past year, and they've tirelessly lobbied for action, holding meetings with influential think tanks, members of the Congress, or even the House speaker like Mike Johnson. And after one such meeting, Speaker Johnson also publicly called for the hostages' release, showcasing the impact of these families' persistent efforts, and their resilience is a testament to the enduring power of love and hope and also determination. And talk about Hanukkah and Christmas, a rare and powerful alignment, right? Christmas and the first day of Hanukkah fall on the same day, which is a rare occurrence, that carried profound symbolism as well. So Hanukkah celebrates the miracle of light in the face of overwhelming darkness, while Christmas heralds the fulfillment of divine hope, through the birth of Christ. So, together, I think these holidays really remind us that even in the darkest times, light and hope prevail. For the families of the hostages, these themes are not just spiritual ideals, but they are the lifelines to cling to as they, you know, explore all these unimaginable pain which they have to go through all the time. And I really hope that some hope really shines as we find some renewed negotiations for sure. So I think yes. And thank you so much, folks out there, for participating. I can see so many comments. I think we should read a few. David is saying, "What kind of legal obstacles would a country face in negotiating the freedom of hostages, especially when dealing with militant groups that don't necessarily adhere to international law?" Well, that's a tough one to answer. But I think the obstacles are real, whether it is extracting the hostages or even when you talk about dealing with any militant group for that matter, where because they are so rebellious and so passionate with what they believe in so firmly that there is no space for negotiation also sometimes, right?
Right.
Going
Yeah.
on to another comment. Yeah, sorry, Sam, please.
I think the question is about the legal obstacles, what a country would face in negotiating the freedom of hostages. So, I think if we talk about it, then I'm not very much sure about like whether there will be a negotiation or whether the countries are trying to face it or not. Because if we also look upon the history of Israel and Gaza, I mean Israel and Palestine, so we always have seen that they have never negotiated or they have never initiated also for a certain peace, but there's always have been conflict and they always have different point of views. They never ended up on the same uh, dealing or the same agreement. So this is something that we can just expect. We don't know exactly what's going to happen, but it's also about when dealing with militant groups that don't necessarily adhere to international law. Exactly, I think that's something important. But I think that's all we all can say about this right now, and I think we should also move ahead and take other comments too.
Yes, there was another comment from David itself. "We will continue to act in every way without respite until we bring everyone home from enemy territory," he promised. That is what I was saying. Thank you so much for highlighting the quotes by Netanyahu. So
Hmm.
thank you, David. And then moving on to Fawad's comment. Do you want to read out, Sam?
Yeah, sure, why not? So Fawad is saying that how do you think the political climate in Gaza and surrounding regions, particularly during the holiday season, will influence the chances of hostages being freed? I think this is what we have been talking all throughout our show. But I think Fawad, I think yeah, that's a very great question, and that's a major topic, major question in our today's session. So if you are asking about how the political climate in Gaza is going to affect or influence the hostages being freed, especially for the holiday season, then I think we can just hope, as we already said that. we can expect that Christmas, is a time where everybody has positivity, and everybody is more into spirituality, or people feel more connected towards God. So it's just a kind of like positiveness, it's just a kind of hope that people are expecting this time, and they can just expect that maybe the hostages, those have been torturous, or those have been went through so much some deadly incidents, or the deadly situations that they have been through, may not happen this time again. They may be freed in this holiday. So this is something that we all are expecting, and this is what also yeah, I think the last comment David also mentioned that Nitayan Netanyahu signals also says that they are going to continue to act in every way, and without respite, they are trying their level best to bring everyone from the enemy territory. So this is also something, a very positive thing, a very positive statement that we have seen, and we have been through it. So let's hope that this time the hostages are able to celebrate Christmas with their families all together. And
Can these negotiations realistically succeed before the holidays? I think that's another tough question because it's almost the holidays, and for most of the folks out there, though it's not like an official holiday, but the Christmas Eve is when most folks out there are busy, and offices maybe are partially just functioning because not the whole. Not all the people in the office come to work, right? They mostly taken off on this day or
Mhm.
take an early leave. So, and we don't know how possible is it because there's less than 24 hours for that.
Mhm.
Right, Fawad? What do you think? Tell us what is your point of view. I mean, it would be great if you could join us also on call. So, yeah, Fawad, we would like to know what do you think on that too. And coming to Imran Khan's comment. Mr. Netanyahu did not provide any details about the negotiations to secure the release of about 100 people. Right, that's what I had mentioned, when we spoke about this earlier. I really hope you were able to join us since the beginning of our conversation. But even if not, you can watch this, whole discussion we had. So yes, about one third of whom are believed to be dead. About if that is what is the main concern. So Imran, thank you for addressing this once again. But according to the Israeli authorities, he says in exchange for their release, a number of Palestinians imprisoned in Israel would be freed according to the outlines of the deal. So we really hope that this happens. And when you look at the U.S. Israeli the U.S. Israel and Palestine relationship, it's marked by deep alliances and also
Mhm.
conflicting narratives and shared aspirations of peace. So the hostage crisis adds a layer of urgency, of course, to addressing these dynamics. And as the world watches, the role of U.S. as a mediator and advocate for human rights remains very critical. So
Mhm.
I really hope that this holiday season somehow, inspires global efforts to bring hostages home and even heal wounds. Um, reignite that hope and bring this brighter future somehow in the region. So I think that's what we are all hoping for. Thank you so much, Imran Khan, for bringing out these very important points and highlighting once again. Yeah.
Absolutely. So I think we have most of our viewers, and David, then Fawad, then Imran. So I think thank you, friends, for joining us, and for also sharing these point of views with us. I think it's really been helpful, and this is a topic that is very sensitive, very crucial, and I think it's hard to have any concluding line for this, because it's so tough. Only people of Israel, only people of Palestine, they know what they are suffering from. We can say that Gaza is getting affected with this, they are having war, but something on the other is that is hidden, or something on the other, they have some feelings, or they have some I would say every tough or a very aggressive feeling, towards each other. There's a huge reason behind it, that why is it, but that we already shared with our viewers. But that's not just enough, because I think if someone is torturing the other country only by listening to their nation's name, only by listening to their nationality, I think that's a big major issue to concern about. And obviously, the land, the territorial location, how Gaza, how Israel, how Palestine is located, I think that is one of the major issue. And I don't know whether it's going to be sorted out, or whether it's going to be, I mean, they both will agree to the same plate or not. But there's going to be a lot of chaos. There's going to be a lot of I would say hostile relations between them, or maybe it can increase, or maybe it can decrease. We don't know anything about it, but we can just hope that this time maybe everything goes little lenient, maybe little soft, and at least the hostages, they can get a chance to celebrate Christmas, to celebrate this upcoming year with their families. And majorly, if we also talk about the relationship of US, Israel, and Palestine, so I think, yeah, US and Israel, they have a kind of strong ally, and they have been, close together in the creation of Israel as well. So their relationship is mostly based on like shared democratic values, security interest, and strong historical ties. So they have a good ally. And if we talk about the US and Palestine, then there's also a support for peace process. That US has historically supported a two-state solution to the Israel-Palestine conflict. So it's like US also tried to have two nations, Israel and Palestine, because maybe US understood that there has been conflict, so it's not possible that both the communities or both the people, they can live happily in the same nation. So it's better to support in the two-state solution thing. So yeah, I think both the Israel and the future Palestinian state, can coexist peacefully. That's what US thought about it. So I think these were some of the major relations also that we need to understand about the U.S. and Israel, then U.S. and Palestine, and also there are different challenges in U.S. relations, But I think with Palestine, if we take, then U.S. never or did not recognize, groups like Hamas as legitimate leaders of the Palestine due to their use of violence and refusal to recognize Israel's right to exist. So this is something that obviously no one is going to support, because it's some or the other being violent, being aggressive, and being, against humanity. So that's what US is against of, and this is also, creating a tension between these two nations, and they are not very much in favor of these things. So these are the things, that's happening around US, Israel, Palestine. So it's a huge topic to discuss on. And also, if we like to share our point of view that who is correct, who is wrong, then I think there's no simple answer to this, because we also can't say anything. It's not just about who is correct, who is not. I think both sides, have valid concerns, and they have deeply held beliefs. They have their own beliefs, they have their own values. And I think over the years, there has been certain attempts at peace as well, like the Oslo Accords and other negotiations as well. But they have aimed to resolve issues like borders, refugees, security, and even Jerusalem, the most important issue, the reason of conflict. But I think these negotiation attempts have never been lasted peace, and the situations, evolve deep emotion and has led so much chaotic, always have been chaotic, and involves something or the other violence into this. So I think ultimately many believe, the key to peace lies in both sides acknowledging each other's rights to live safely and with dignity. But I think until and unless they both are ready to negotiate together, they both are not ready to compromise on their beliefs, or compromise on their agendas together, then I think they won't be leading a peaceful nation. This is from my point of view. What do you think, Nabasa? Any concluding line you would like to add on?
Yes, I mean, like I've already said, but yes, to talk about the challenges, the efforts to resolve the conflict remains stalled, because I think deep mistrust on both sides has been happening for for, I mean, ever since we all remember, right?
Mhm.
So key issues, of course, like you have mentioned, the status of Jerusalem is one. The second is, of course, Palestinian statehood and borders. And then there is Israeli settlements in occupied territories. And then, of course, last but not the least, the right of return for Palestinian refugees, right? I know many international actors support a two state solution, but achieving it really requires a significant compromise and mutual recognition, which remains elusive. But when we once again talk about, U.S., Israel, and Palestine, their relationship, and it's it has marked deep alliances, and the world watches. The role of U.S. as a mediator and the advocate for human rights remains very critical. And I really hope that somehow, that um, they will be able to, bring home hostages, heal wounds, and also, reignite hope and, have a brighter future for all of us in this, and especially in these regions.
Absolutely. And, we can also see some of our viewers like Imran, Lion. So I would like to know that, friends, if you want to, join our stream, you can also dial this number. And Lion is here, and he says it's so. I think it is. We are not getting exactly what you are trying to say, but it would be great, if you could join us by dialing this number, or you can also comment us and let us know what are you actually talking about. Make it, so that we can understand it in a quite clear way. But yeah, I think meanwhile, Anapasa, you have given a conclusion, and I think that's perfectly answered, and I think that's perfectly understood by our viewers. It's not about yes or no; it's more about the grayish part. So I think, yeah, that's what the thing is. And now I think we have almost covered, our today's session with so many things. We talked about the history. We talked about the reason behind the conflicts between these two states and why so much conflict, or what is the reason. Then also we talked about the relationship between the US, Israel, then US and Palestine, and we also talked about the current situation regarding hostages, and we also talked about the expectation, what we are expecting. So, friends,
Yes.
we have discussed a lot in today's session, and it has been very informative. But if you also have some of your point of view, if you also have some of the other information that you would like to let us know, like our other viewers have commented us, then feel free to comment on our comment section, and we will definitely take them up. Or if you have any question, then we have regular webinars with our expert attorneys, so we will definitely take those questions to our attorneys in our webinars, and we will definitely let you know about the answers. So thank you so much, everyone, for attending this session. It has been a great one. And after all, it's Christmas Eve, so we all are very much happy, we all are very much excited for this show, and for tomorrow as well, for Christmas as well. So, Merry Christmas and Happy Holidays to each one of you. Enjoy your day, and lots of love to your family, to our viewers. I would say that yes, have a great year ahead.
Really lovely. And yes, indeed, today's discussion was both moving and thought provoking, shedding light on the ongoing crisis and also the critical situation regarding, Gaza hostages. And really, it's the holiday season, so we can only hope for resolution, and peace for those still suffering. And thank you so much, really, all of you folks, who made time to join us, even during this festive season. And of course, really appreciate it, that you took time. And together, if you're reflecting or praying, may your hopes and peace be heard, really, because we will continue to follow the developments also on this. And yeah, I hope to bring you good updates because we are looking for more positivity, and yes, until then, of course, you'll also have a wonderful Christmas ahead, a joyous one, a magical one, and have a merry one. Enjoy yourself, good food. I mean, all positivity, I would say. And yeah, we'll see you soon then. Happy holidays. And of course, have a Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas, everyone. Thank you so much for watching this session till the end. Me and Nabasa are signing off for now.
Bye bye, everyone.